something like that. Okay, we are live. Quality looks good. Welcome to the channel, guys. Just gonna stream the market close here. Before we get into any charting, I'm not a licensed financial advisor. Everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only. And yeah, we'll go from there. Strictly my opinion. Okay, so here we have TQ up, holding the uptrend that we had set from early in the day. If we recap to the day chart, I would expect continuation. We are positive. You wick down into the middle of this green candle, which is previous high from Thursday, and we are looking for an extension up to this 2175 gap on TQ, which is related to the Nasdaq. A lot to get into today. This was quite the busy day. Had a lot of cuts, had a lot of buys as well. Let's start from the top and let's go over oil real quick. So oil had gave up that 80 early in the day. Let's go to a 15-minute chart. Let's just clear the chart out. So on the night stream, we identified that we have a channel, a descending channel right here. And we broke on top, rested on top, and this same support held. So if I pulled from like this wick top right here, we show the wick and it gets good strength. And now, can it break the day's high? 81.25 breakout price, and to see how the relevance of that is, your breakout price from last week's price right there. So nice green candle through that. I would expect this 80.25 to hold as good support and probably down to 80 flat. So if we mark both of those and then hop back over to a 15-minute chart, you can see our EMA at 80.34, showing good strength, good volume, over positive, overbought area, and almost both. Looks pretty good. So then back to the daily. We're focused on these two wick tops right here. There's your ultimate breakout price where, then we're going to go see how it tests at this 83 flat. If they can get through all of that, this looks really good for a potential test of this double top area up here. And I'm sure it has some sort of downtrend that's meeting with, and that seems to be meeting with it right now. So, break on top of that downtrend would look pretty good on the charts, and maybe a little bit early. I could see this pulling back some consolidation and see how it would test inside of this wedge right here. If we consolidated back inside to these mid 70s, how is it going to act? Tesla, a lot of buzz on Tesla. I thought it looked like a short. I thought it was a nice fish and pull right here. but maybe not the scenario. Go to a 15-minute, and as stated last week, this is your breakout price over this 125. Where do we gap up to? We gap up to 125.50. We back test 125 on the money. There's your 125 back test, and we stay pretty bullish, and it looks like it's getting ready for a new day's high, so potential extensions. Next thing on the chart is you got this gap fill and probably this bottom wick, which is the start of the gap. So potential sell window right in here, or just a trim, and hold the rest. You do have another gap fill up here. So potential 150s on an extension. If it wants to continue being bullish, look for this uptrend to continue holding. We have a nice uptrend that's getting good relative strength right there. Alright, let's start going through AMD. Same scenario as the Nasdaq, looks exactly the same. Amazon. Now we did have some buys off this 96 flat, which is this previous high right here. Really good support built in, and we do wick to it again. We didn't add on this second time down, but why did we add? We added at the 97 flat as well. Here's your 97 flat, previous high. It initially had a bid and then retrace back down, but here is your uptrend. And longer story, we are positive on both of our commodity channels, and I'm expecting a break of this high price eventually. Potential run up to these gap fills up here, where you have 3 gaps. So this is an entire window, selling window. Potential run up to that 120. If it wants to continue being bullish, you got gaps up here as well. 136. ASTS had a little fun cutting down the position a little bit. We had some decent size on this at the 5 break. So respect those quarters. Last week we had outs up here at this 525. Breaks out of last week's high price, gets a nice little bid up to that 550. Now catching a little resistance. Let's wait for this next leg up to this start of the gap at 6. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Be big, had some good outs up here. It was double topping. We had the wick top right there. Had to sell some of it just because we had to get some sold. Very nice breakout right there. If we go to a daily chart, you can see our entry wasn't quite at the breakout of this, but we got the 62 entry. So it was full green engulfing through that. But running into a little resistance up here for sure. If it wants to continue being bullish, I'm looking for that $1. Respect the whole dollar. BHG, we did have a little bit of a sell order on BHG. We respected that whole 1 level, and I think we did have an out at 97, but then we did have an out north of 1, I believe. Really took the 82 break right here. Really good action, and it gapped up midday. That's always a good sign when it's gapping up midday above where your breakout price is. This is why it's not a very big position, is because you would expect a little bit more time to be able to build the position in this time. Didn't give you that opportunity and stays bullish on today. If we go back to a day chart, running into some resistance up here probably. So this is why we had the cut down a little bit of the position. If it wants to keep holding this uptrend, by all means, if this were to pull back into like these mid 90s, right in the middle of this green candle, and then catch a bid and continue running, respect this uptrend, we could be talking potential outs. You got a gap fill at that 150. So 150 up to 168 is definitely a selling window. BKT might have FOMO'd into a small position here in BKT, but really good volume. A little bit too high on the selling pressure right there. But I think that this can potentially start. So here's where we FOMO'd in a little bit. Really looked good right here, but didn't really, the volume will tell you guys, didn't really have the nice increase in volume right now. And then we did throw another order to up the position at 202, right above that 2. And so we're in the red on this position. In all honesty, back to the day chart, your entry is over here on this day. Break of this 150, which we missed, of course. So this is why it's FOMO. I want to see 2 hold. If it gives out in this last hour, probably just cut the position and wait for another day. Maybe we can buy it later on in the week. B-pop, still the wick buyers on B-pop. Void, a little bit of profit taking as this gap is still there. Comp, looking like it really wants to take out this 370. I mean, this is a decent look. We did sell a little bit of shares because I expected a little bit of pullback in the Nasdaq at the time, so I think that's why we cut it. But if it's able to push this top over here, it looks good for a continuation. The cows, we did set a new high. Fake some people out, I'm sure, but I think that this is going to respect the trend line, especially with oil looking pretty good. But we did break this uptrend, which is a little bit different from the Nasdaq, so could see some pullbacks into this previous high right here. That 48 flat, go figure. CrowdStrike, this is a trade we took live early in the day. We can go look at the break where we called out a full green engulfing. You have a red candle and engulfs the entire red candle with the green candle. That is really good strength, and you can take the break of this high right here, which is what we did, and we're just backholing, and it just so happens that's the breakthrough 100 flat. And we had a little bit of sell-off at this gap. I wasn't even watching it. Now that I can see that there was not much selling pressure off this gap, and if this set to close above this gap, we could be talking about a potential U shape that can break over top of this 108 potentially. CTRA, we in one of the portfolios we took a position, but we wanted to take the break of these top wicks. I don't know, I've made a lot of trades today, so I don't know if that is going to be in the cards, but if it keeps catching a bid like this, we did just go positive, gaps up, fills the gap. Here's your gap fill right here. Fills the gap on the money, and this is your extension that you're getting. So probably some decent size, and look at all the green orders. The buying pressure is there. So CTRA, definitely one to keep on watch. This was a profit taker last week, and now we're kind of diamond handing some of the position. Pull back into the middle of this green candle. Let's see if it can continue to hold this range. We at C Airlines caught a little bit of resistance. Still got to fight that out. DBX, at one point today, I think on a 15-minute chart, didn't look half bad. Yeah, right here. But we gave it a little bit of time. Now if it can reclaim a new day's high right there, call it a 23 break. Dell looked like a short going into the day, if I recall. Yeah, needs to work out some kinks still, but could be confirming a higher low. Who knows, maybe a nice U shape gets starting to form right here, and we're talking about a break at 43 flat later on in the week. Oil, this is one of the few oil plays that, does have some strength, even with oil being up, surprisingly. But, gaps up, it's potentially getting ready to set a close above the gap, and this is a nice U shape forming right here. But let's give it a few candles. We did just go positive. How many have I showed you where it goes on a run, builds a U shape, and breaks the next high, which is, call it a 91 break. Continuing this U shape, Dino does not look half bad on the day, and trying to continue this upward channel right here. Boom. Boom. There's just a nice upward wedge right there. Let's see if it can actually break out of that. Your breakout price, I have marked 53.50. There's probably signs that, this could be the start of something. You have the increased volume throughout this whole consolidation period, and you're going positive. You're expecting buyers to jump in. But you can see the upward channel, probably meets in somewhere like this. And this can go somewhere like that. Yeah, that looks like a decent channel right there. Dino not looking half bad. Disney probably looks the same as the NQ, pretty much still just holding this uptrend. No, oil play right here. We gotta respect it. Could be early signs of a potential U-shape getting ready to form right here. We're talking about a breakout price, 64.50 at the top of this wick, and that could be a catalyst to push up for this 65. Starting to curl a little bit though. You can see the bent fishing rod potentially coming into play right here, but I would expect the oil to look pretty good. Let's see what oil is doing. And oil is actually over this 81, guys. So this is another part of why I wanted to live stream. We've been calling for this oil, and oil is just churning to the upside right now. Now when you throw it on a day chart, this looks pretty damn good. Bull flag, descending channel, breaks that channel, attempts to come down and retest the top end of that channel, but doesn't even have the strength to get there. And we are positive on oil. So look for these oil plays to continue churning. Oil play, I bet you it looks pretty good. Let's go to a 15-minute chart. Holding a nice uptrend. Fastenal, we'd really like to see Fastenal hold this support. But there is your flat bottom breakdown below this wick. Shorts are looking to jump into this, the break of that. Farmers actually showing some strength to get back on top of this EMA. It's been fighting it for quite some time. It's been bearish all day. Now let's see if it can have a strong close and actually hold this uptrend. You know, we don't want to paper hand the position yet because we do have this gap fill at 1420. Very good looking bull flag right there. Descending channel downward and breaking for new high from last week. Google, we did take some trades in Google. Let's go talk about it, and it looks very good. See how we had to decide. You know, we have lower highs and higher lows. Gonna have to pick a direction now. It's really looking like it's going to pick the upside. So, but still gonna have to fight over top of this. This could be a head and shoulders look right here, where it finally gives up. But let's go look at the longer picture. Holding a nice uptrend as well. Let's go to a day chart. Query the drawings. So you can see on a day interval, Google getting ready to potentially go positive on our commodity. So we're basically saying if it takes out this high price, we're going to get paid at least to this gap more than likely. But I think Google is a pretty solid company. I think this is a pretty good buying opportunity for Google in my opinion. But potentially building a nice U shape if it continues to catch a bid. Google having a pretty decent look. HPQ above the EMA, about to go positive, so call it a 27.75 break. Intel still below the moving average. This was a profit take all day, but I'm sure it's, you know, it is broken off the uptrend. So one of the few that's broken off the uptrend right here. I think you're pushing your luck if you think that still could hold it, but it could be drawn like that. INVA potentially starting to build this U shape, but this is good selling pressure that comes in right there. But trying to hold, oh, that wick top right there. This, I do not know. It's going to have a stronger close. More volume is going to have to come in, but you can see the increasing volume as we're trying to break the top into this channel. KNX, that looks pretty good. Nice U shape right there. Kroger, you know, here's your breakout price on Kroger. 46.75. Light, voice crack. Light starting to catch a bid, I would say. Continue. This is one of those just went positive, but could be potentially building a nice U shape for another confirmed higher low right here. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. If they can just break day's high, I think it looks good. Lumen, we did flirt with some shares on Lumen. Might have gotten faked out a little bit at this 560. But now we are actually starting to turn positive. I'm looking to add more of Lumen at the break of positive on a 15-minute chart. We go to a day chart. Here's your gap fill right here at this 560. And we can see that it can set a close above there. We still have an uptrend to hold. So Lumen not looking terrible. Strong move from LYV. That was on the watch. Mara, we did take some profits in Mara. Had the gap up, couldn't fill the gap. So it looks maybe good for continuation, but MARPS this did catch a little bit. This I would expect oil to be fine as long as the oil is continuing to run. And we can see caught a little bit of rejection, but still at 80, holding 81. So I mean, just another quick look at oil. Yeah, I think oil has got a lot of momentum coming for this new day high break. Microsoft, we did buy a little. We better talk about some of these oil plays right here. So we're at MARPS. We did add a little bit into MATX. Still a small position, but continuing to just churn sideways in this wedge. And we're about to go positive. Is it going to be able to break positive here is the question. We got a decent trend line forming on the commodity. Let's see if it can just catch a little bit more volume and break this downtrend. MedX, we're diamond handing some of this position for sure, but we did have outs up here, so it's not the worst look in the world if you were able to see those outs, but increased selling pressure for sure. Clean break through this. This is probably going to be one that we get stopped out of. I gotta say fail safe 111, but straight red down for Med. Starting to actually pan out like the short could pan out. Called for low 40s, and I think that we can maybe get those low 40s sometime this week. Starting to get some confirmation that this is trying to go positive. Let's look at the 15-minute on it. MOS. There's your breakout prices. Trying to build a U shape right here. Is it going to retrace down to this gap at 46.30? BC, I would expect oil to start turning green. MRO had a nice U shape forming right here. We FOMO'd into upping this position. I'm not interested in selling oil right now. You could say, well, it's breaking your channel. Oh, I think there's going to be some good buying down here in these 26s. So might have to give it a couple days on some of the oil plays, but I think they still look pretty good. Needs to catch more of a bid. Microsoft, we did add a little bit of Microsoft. Took the break of these wicks. Boom, green candle gets triggered. Now we're resting on top of that. So I'm not in the green by very much. Could think to add some to this if we get a break of this 140 or 241. I'd say Microsoft doesn't look that bad. Mullen, I cannot believe we haven't got stopped out of Mullen yet. We just have a 30-cent stop in. We've already had our outs here. We're going to stay true to this 30-cent stop and see where that goes. Netflix, we thought about selling some Netflix today. But, I think I can give this a little bit more time. We've already taken our profits on Netflix. Let's see if we can get this to 350 gap fill. Neo, we added to some of the Neo position. Just staying true to the positive on this, and it actually looks like it doesn't look like a half bad of a buy. Could start forming a nice U shape, call it a 1150 break. NRG, we did FOMO into a few shares of this, even though I probably shouldn't have. But, at the break of these wicks right here, it just looked too enticing with this green candle. So, not terrible. I'm expecting for this to continue going down because we are down here in the negatives as well. But I think that's possible that I can catch a bid. We got nice wick buying off the long-term trend line that we have drawn here, and we're going to see how that goes. Open, had some cuts in open. Failed to get over yesterday's high, or Friday's high. If we go to a 15-minute chart, you can see that's where it failed to get over yesterday's high. So I made sure we had some outs. OVV has an uptrend. Can it start turning green? OXY, another oil play, looks bearish. I cannot believe that oil looks bearish with oil above 81. That's just shocking to me. Looking at EOG real quick. EOG is green. Another oil play, guys. I cannot believe these are showing the weakness that they have. Saying that oil is flirting with that breakout price. Cannot believe that. But we're going to dive in here. Pins actually looking pretty decent on a 15-minute chart. This is the one we want to talk about. We've been trying to take this 2650 break so many times. And today it actually finally went. So looking over to the daily chart, I think we have some really good entries off of this, and it's respected this uptrend. It just respected this uptrend. And now at the north of 27, we like the entry that we have, and we want to see continuation, at least up to this downtrend, where potential move to the up or the downtrend is 12%, give or take. PSG oil play. I mean, it's just unbelievable. These setups look beautiful. I don't know if it's just trapping me or not. Same thing. Setup just looks beautiful for oil. PayPal continuing its move. We do have a gap fill down here, coming to the top end of the channel. Could potentially think about cutting some. Put a stop loss underneath this wick for a few shares at 80.20. But I think it looks good. QDEL. Looked like it really wanted to get bullish here. This is when we go positive, but looking like it's going to go test this support again, which is a little bit shocking to say the least. Is it going to be able to hold this channel is the question. Can it start forming this U shape? You can see all the selling pressure up to that 86 range. Good continuation. Roblox. If Roblox wants to continue going bullish, have a limit order at that 39. It looks pretty good. Roblox looking pretty good, but it does have a gnarly gap up, so potential move back down to 33 is very possible. RHI respected the downtrend, put a wick right into the top of it. Looks pretty good. Rig, oh boy, 6 flat. Now that is right at a gap fill, so I am just going to go market out of some shares right there because we're going to respect that whole level 6, and it just so happens that's meeting up at a gap as well. So let's actually log back into the account. I thought that I was done. We are going to respect the 6 level though. We got to have a cutoff of this. I mean, we don't have to, but I mean, this is a large move. Up 38% on the position. Let's make sure we get a cut for some shares. Respect the 6. Beautiful profits right there, guys. RRC, RS, sleep number. We did take a little bit of profit on sleep number today. SoFi, really strong. Looks very strong. We could have a cut for top end of this channel, but it looks really strong, guys. I mean, I think I can get this 584 gap. So let's diamond hand some of the position. We already have a few outs on SoFi. Loving the position. Square, we took a little bit of profit on Square today. So now we're going to diamond hand the rest of the position. Took profit at the previous high. And yeah, let's diamond hand for at least 49.40, give or take. Steel still looking good. You know, Smith and Wesson. We respected the bottom end of this channel. We have some really good small entries down here at the bottom end of this channel. And this is looking very bullish. I don't know if I want to cut any, but the position is well in the green. Very good moves from Smith and Wesson. Let's go to a 15-minute chart and look how strong this actually is. So we could think about taking a little bit of profit as we're getting close to the start of this gap, call it 1080. But very strong move. TDC. You know, it is a nice looking potential U shape, and we just went positive, positive. Let's look back at the day chart. Yeah, just not there yet. Just not there yet on that one. THO, we stated, you know, we're expecting this to come back. That's the downtrend right here. Tilray, oh boy, we got some good shares at Tilray today. Look at the strength on Tilray. Oh, nice increasing volume. Took the breakout at 320. Had some ends early, just early signs of a nice U shape forming right here. And now look at the extension. Now we're trying to reclaim really trying to reclaim 325. Tilray looking very strong. You know, that reminds me to go back to Planet 13. You know, might have had a couple early ins. Double top coming in at this 102. But, you know, let's see if this can hold this uptrend. Right there. You can see where this uptrend is coming into play. I think it can hold that uptrend. T-net right down to the trend line. Let's see how it acts. We already have our outs on T-net that we wanted. It's really respected this channel, but really testing it. And this is red engulfing right there. That red engulfing. This could be a potential trim if we wanted to, but we already have good outs on it. Let's not panic too much because we are coming into this previous high right here. TQ still looking like it wants to continue being bullish. Trip. Tyson's Foods really starting to curl up. Now this is what I want to see. But it's respected this uptrend. Uptrend cracks, acts as resistance. Now can this newly formed uptrend form this wedge and get a break to this 6680? Yellow, I cannot believe some of these oil plays, man. That is just ridiculous. It's alright though. Maybe it's just not the day. Some of these oil plays, man, I just cannot believe them. Zillow, nice little U shape, could be potentially forming, and that could be setting up for a new all-time high test. Zoom, is it going to respect the uptrend? It respected it early today. Still get a break out of this channel, so call it a 7150 break. And that is everything right there, guys. That is your update. Took me about 30 minutes to go through everything right there. Had to recut a couple things. Oil. Keep oil on the watch. I know the stocks are not respecting the move that oil is having right now, and maybe it's because we're coming right into a downtrend. But uh, you know, this is pretty solid move right here, and this is setting up. Look at this. Look at this. This is gorgeous. A break of this 81, truly 81.10. Looks imminent. So if we can get that, you know, I would have a hard time thinking that some of these oil plays aren't going to start following along. So we will definitely see right there. MRO catching up bid to the downside, retesting this support, and that's just crazy. Could have another leg down. It's very possible. But Med, this is why we didn't want to really paper hand it too much, because it could be respecting this downside channel right here. This is large red to the downside, but still has a chance to hold right there. Lumen, let's check up on Lumen real quick, and then we're going to call it. Lumen's still holding this 560. The longer it keeps trading sideways, and look at that. This looks pretty good to eventually start sloping up to that positive. If it does break above that 566, I think it can catch a bid. But remember, you do have a downtrend that you're going to have to fight. So this is probably going to be hard resistance. And then let's see if this uptrend can hold. And with that note, I am going to end the stream. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you